as this school year wraps up, a new group of graduating seniors, they are entering the next chapter of their lives. Teachers, they're hoping a personal finance course will give students the financial knowledge needed to succeed. Well, I visited a personal finance classroom at the Brooklyn Preparatory Academy to see how the students are benefiting.
You're going to tell me by the end, first of all, what is Bitcoin? How would you describe it?
Personal finance is the hot new commodity in the classroom, with more schools making it a requirement. According to the Council for Economic Education, 39 states mandate high school students take a personal finance course to graduate, 4 more than in 2024. Leslie Finnan, Senior Advocacy Director for the CEE, says nearly 30 years ago, it wasn't even a thing.
The first year we did the study in 1998, only 1 state required students to take personal finance. This is reaching almost 3 million graduating seniors a year. Research shows that when students take personal finance in high school, they make better financial decisions later. They have higher credit scores, lower loan default rates. When they take out student loans, they take better student loans. They just altogether are better consumers, better citizens, and make better decisions.
This is similar to the chart that I just showed you. Why do you think it was so low for so long?
Because it was new. It didn't have any history.
This fall, all high school students in New York State must have some sort of exposure to personal finance in order to receive their diploma.
It can be embedded in an economics class or a math class, or it could be electives, or it can be a standalone depending on the school and how they want to structure it.
Diana Isern is assistant principal and financial literacy educator at Brooklyn Preparatory High School. She's been teaching her Money Moves class for 6 years, covering everything from investing in real estate to taxes and budgeting.
For our students, I talk to them about credit scores, credit cards, credit reports, all of that kind of stuff, because if we can get to them prior to making big decisions in their life that are going to impact them for 20, 30, 40 years, and possibly not get them into debt and so that they have to kind of climb out of holes, then we need to do that earlier and just make them aware, make them informed about those things as soon as we can.
I want you to look up today's price of 1 single Bitcoin. And I want you to find out how much those pizzas would cost today.
Try to show my gas bill, my electric bill, my food, my grocery list, the whole thing. And they're like, whoa, it's like you spend $500 a month on groceries? And I'm like, yeah, that's with coupons, you know? And so what I do is I have an assignment where they go home and they fill out an itemized list of what their family spends on these things. If their family, of course, is comfortable sharing that. And most are overjoyed to share that, because they're like, okay, I need this kid to know that we spend $300 on Con Ed, on electricity. Mm-hmm. And that's why I tell him to turn off the lights in the room when he leaves. I have parents asking me about opening a Vanguard account or Fidelity or E-Trader, whatever the companies are, and they want to come. I've had parents come in. I've sat down with them and showed them in English and in Spanish. And so it's a cycle of a ripple effect that continues to expand.
The paper that you guys have, can you please flip it over to the other side?
Leah Mejia is a senior at Brooklyn Prep and a curriculum leader for the class.
I even told some of my family members how to start investing and what to do. And they're just always coming up to me Leah, how do you do this? How do you start? So yeah, it's just mainly interest on how to grow my money and not be so dependent on my family, and how to be independent by myself.
Bentley Rivera is a sophomore.
My favorite part of the class was learning about the real estate, because I feel that it's important to know how to own a home, how to rent a home, and that was just a really fun part of the class.
What do you want to do after high school, after you graduate, and has this class changed what you're thinking about?
My major is going to be in finance. So this class has prepared me on the basics at least, so I know what I'm getting into. This class
it made me more interested in finance, so I've been looking into other classes and stuff for it.
But while personal finance takes a front row seat, economics has fallen off. Only 22 states now mandate economics for graduation, down from 26 in 2024, yet still up from 13 when the study began in 1998.
Personal finance is just so much more hands-on, visible. Economics is a more academic, theoretical thing. We think that they are both important, and the gold standard would be a full year of economics and personal finance, so a student understands the market and how everything everything works and also their place in it. We'd rather they do both, but it's hard to argue that personal finance is not important. Every meeting I have, the first response is, yeah, why don't we teach kids about personal finance? So it just makes sense.
And it totally makes sense. But that last piece about how personal finance, now more schools are doing it over economics, is kind of interesting. But just to see how the kids come together, it starts conversations at home. Because I know growing up, personal finance, like I didn't know how to balance a checkbook. Like I didn't know how to do anything. It wasn't something that we talked about at home. So it's good to see the kids doing it.
Yeah, I was thinking back, like in middle school, we had like some course called like consumers, where we like did learn in broad strokes about checking accounts. But like as they were saying, as those students were saying, just learning the basics is so important, and that can kind of kickstart interest in investing in other things.
I didn't have any of this, and I have a degree in foreign affairs and didn't have to take an econ class until graduate school. I had never had an economics class until I got to graduate school because it just wasn't required. So
is this a New York phenomenon, or is it happening widely?
It's happening across the nation, which is nice. But it's interesting to see at this school particularly, and all the work that they're doing, and the teacher just so much energy into it, and opening up the eyes to the kids when she gives them an assignment, like find out what your parents spend on Con Ed, like she was saying, and the kids are like, wow, you spend that much money?
Yes.
Yeah, we do,
it's
kids.
so smart, because it's really hard to grasp that, I think, as a kid, unless you were actually looking at the numbers and the things that it costs to be a parent.
So it helps when a teacher says it, I've found. I can tell my kids it's a lot of money, and if a teacher says it,
I don't listen to you either.
And they roll their eyes at you.
Yes.